Right, tired of playing second fiddle, Kalonzo Musyoka has now embarked in earnest on his 2022 presidential bid as the Wiper Party rebrands to the One Kenya movement. Another move by another NASA affiliate raising more questions about the future of the coalition. Tonight at The Big Question, we speak to one of the key architects of this move and NASA Technical Committee co-chair, former Machakos Senator Johnson Muthama, and we ask, what do you make of Kalonzo's move? Talk to us, text us on 22422 and on Twitter, use the hashtag The Big Question. Honorable Muthama, thank you so much for making time for us tonight. It's been a long time we haven't seen you publicly, at the very least politically speaking, but it's nice to see you again. First, let me start by asking what informed this decision?
Are you referring to yesterday's meeting?
Yes.
Let me start by saying that there is time for everything. And as time moves, things keep on changing. There was a time when NASA seemed to be heading together with common and directions and agreements which were being agreed upon. Then came a time where it looked like there were diversions of ideas.
It looked like, or is there diversion of ideas?
It looked like, because there is nothing concrete that has been taken, cemented, and agreed upon. So it looked like. So when the time of the swearing in came in, and Raila took the oath alone, and Kalonzo was not there, Mudavadi was not here, Wetangula was not there. Frankly speaking, there were issues which were raised by Kenyans. And more particularly, in Ukambani, people wanted to know what transpired, what exactly happened. And they demanded, before Kalonzo makes any move, he must go back to them as their son and tell him exactly what happened. And those issues have been coming up. And Kenyans from that block of Ukambani wanted to know. So we decided, and I decided to convene that meeting and ask Kalonzo to come and explain to them what happened in true Kikamba language.
That is what happened on the 30th of January.
That what happened with the oath. Then came the issue of the handshake, which also they wanted to know, why was he not part of that? And yet, when they were seated there and watching and looking and giving him support, they expected him to be part of all the decisions which are being taken. So it turned out again that he was not aware of the handshake. So they wanted those two questions to be responded with proper answers to him. And they say that you come with proper answers, or you don't come with proper answers, you go your way, we go our way. You come with proper answers, we walk together. This is what necessitated yesterday's meeting. And I decided to convene it because somehow there is that great trust that what I say is what is there. So I had to come out and act by convening that meeting.
So am I to take it that because Kalonzo Musyoka was not involved in the handshake, and because Kalonzo Musyoka was not in the swearing in of 30th, you have said actually Raila Odinga did it alone? I'll come to that and you explain what happened. Is that the reason why you have decided now to walk as Wiper and reach out to everybody else in the country?
You know, Mohammed, the issue is not to work as Wiper. But the issue is to work as Wiper. We don't stop there as Wiper by moving to meet and join other Kenyans and solidify our firm position on where we are heading as a political party.
So, I mean, you're a very senior member in the Wiper Party. Everybody knows that. And in the Ukambani community, politics generally. you convened this. So I'm asking you now, all this has happened. Part of the key reasons you said is because you're not happy that Kalonzo was not involved in the handshake, and you're also not happy that...
The community was not happy.
Why are you happy yourself?
Me, myself, I would love to answer that question in a different way. You know, I had 4 principles within NASA. I still have, as far as I'm concerned, 4 principles in NASA. It turned out that, and let me be candid on this, my co-chair, James Orengo, did not know about the handshake. Senator Mudhama, co-chair, did not know about the handshake. Mheshimiwa Eseli did not know about the handshake. Mheshimiwa Bunyasi did not know about the handshake. We, as what we call watu wa mkono, we didn't know about that. So to us it was a big surprise. Let me confess that. Because I cannot color this issue and make it look differently. That's the naked truth. About the swearing in.
And that you're not happy with?
Yes.
Okay.
About the swearing in. I was one of the planners, Mohammed. And let me be candid on this. And the 4 gentlemen, all of us, including myself, we were the key planners. But at Uhuru Park, Mudhama was not there. Neither Bunyas was there. Neither Sel was there. It was only Orengo. The people who should be asked by Kenyans, and those are questions I cannot answer here. I can only answer when we are 4 of us. Those who should tell Kenyans what exactly happened and what made the 3 not to appear, and we 3 not to appear, are the 4 co-chairs.
Okay, we have heard separately from ANC about what transpired. The Secretary General, Barack Muluka, talked about it, saying they were supposed to be called by Odinga, but then the phones were switched off, and the next thing they know, Odinga was there. We then heard from Kalonzo Musyoka, who actually talked about 2 things, saying one, initially he said because of security. Later he talked about this being a strategy, that is why they didn't attend. And then we heard from James Orengo, who was here on the big question 2 weeks ago, and he said the 4 gentlemen that the summit, that the principals of NASA, had agreed to go up to the last 10 minutes before Raila Odinga made his way. They had promised they are going, only for them not to show up. I don't know who we are supposed to believe.
There's more than that, Mohammed. And frankly speaking, there's more than that. If Kalonzo was not there, Mwetangula was not here, and those issues can be dealt with the answers of what has been said. But why Mudhama is not being asked? He was a planner, as a key person who wanted that swearing in. Where did you disappear? Why were you not Uhuru Park? And that question,
you.
If I try to do that here alone, Mohammed, I will be exposing my brothers. Eseli and Bunyasi and Orengo, we need to hold a press conference and tell Kenyans exactly what happened.
But I've told you what Muluka
said.
Yes.
Muluka was speaking from the point of being disappointed. Openly, frankly speaking, he felt to be disappointed for things that happened, but he did not know the inside story of it. You know, when I was sworn in to be co-chair, there are issues I was told to safeguard. These co-chairs were not just picked from the street. We were given the oath of secrecy, and I maintained that. And I want, and I promise Kenyans, soon or very soon, we will sit, 4 of us, and we will tell Kenyans what happens with hope.
Well, I believe in that, but those are the things we've heard from your colleagues. Only you and WIPE actually, only you, but let me say only you, as a member of the organizing committee, is not saying what happened. But the rest have said.
But Eseli has never said anything.
No, but Ford Kenya has spoken about it.
That is Eseli now. Co-chair. You see, Wetangula may say what he wants to say. Kalonzo may say what, but the planners of the oath, listen, Mohammed, I'm saying this. Those who were planning how the oath will be taken are 4 gentlemen. They need to speak.
Obviously,
me being one of them.
Obviously, there will be disquiet about what the new arrangement for WIPA means for NASA, or what it does to the NASA coalition. That is the One Kenya movement. Sorry, OKM, One Kenya movement. That is what WIPA is rebranding to. To you, then, what takes precedence? Because you're a member of a coalition that is NASA. What takes precedence? Is it One Kenya movement or NASA now? What takes precedence?
NASA is not a political party, but NASA is a coalition of 4 political parties. And one of them is Wiper. So by having or tilting the name or changing the name from Wiper to One Kenya movement, it is not interfering with the setup of the party. Look at what happened with the TNA and URP. Mm-hmm. In the process of Parliament being on and having time to expire of 5 years, Jubilee was formed, and TNA was brought in, was thrown out, URP out, Jubilee came in. There was no interference, even with the running of Parliament of the elected members from the 2 political parties. So with the One Kenya movement, it does not change the structure of the party. The party is the same, but it is the members now who are agreeing to say that we don't want the name Wiper. We want the name
One Kenya movement.
Yes. By the way, Mohan, can I tell you something?
Yeah, sure.
There was no name as Wiper when ODM, Orange Democratic Movement of Kenya. Mm. When it was moved, there was no Wiper. Wiper came as a sign of greeting, you know, and it was brought up by late Mutula. And then it was picked. But because of the confusion of ODM
Kenya,
constant, the one that, which is of Raila Amolo Odinga, and ODM Kenya, we decided now to run just away with Wiper, not to confuse people.
Right.
But that's where now we are starting from.
Right. So then you're saying this is just about Wiper and One Kenya movement, but you're still firmly in NASA. But
firmly in NASA.
But there seems to be more than that.
Yes.
Will Kalonzo then ultimately, because he said yesterday, and you said it, he's going to vie for the 2022 presidential election. Does it mean he and you generally as Wiper can work with anyone? You've said you'll work with everyone anyway. That's what he said. I'll just quote him. Kalonzo said, I'm going to reach to everyone. He said, I will see Mzee Moi, Kibaki, Mama Ngina Kenyatta, and I'll reach out to everyone. These people that Kalonzo has talked about are not in NASA. Okay? You're already part of a coalition.
Yes.
I mean, first, does this mean working with anyone, including Kenyatta, Ruto, Mudavadi, Raila? And number 2, it would also mean you're not satisfied with NASA only as it is set up, or the NASA lineup. That is why you want to reach out to more people.
No, Mohammed, if you want to lead this country, you must move with an open mind and open hearts to say, irrespective of what was said yesterday, I'm here to lead Kenya. So I'm out to reach everybody. That should be the beginning of your steps towards reaching everybody in this country. So the names that Kalonzo mentioned here are the names of the prominent
people,
Kenyans, who stands to be respected. I mean, nobody can say Mama Ngina is not a respected person in this country. You cannot say Mo is not respected. So by saying that, probably he is not looking for support from them. He wants their blessings. And there is nothing wrong for Kalonzo going to the first lady of this country and say, Mama, I want your blessings. You may not vote for me, but give me your blessings to go and seek for votes. Okay. He will do the same to Moi and others. And there is no crime in doing that. Neither you are not breaking a law.
So if that means you're going to reach out to everyone, including President Kenyatta, including William Ruto?
Uhuru is going out, as far as I'm concerned. So there's nothing wrong for Kalonzo going and reminding him what happened in 2007, when he was part of the agreement that was agreed upon between Kalonzo and Kibaki.
All right.
Yes.
Back to my question then.
Yes.
NASA is a coalition, has parties and members.
Yes.
Are you saying you're not satisfied with the NASA lineup only going for the presidency? In future, you want to reach out to more?
Let me say this in short. There is a statement that was issued by Mheshimiwa Governor Oparanya, where he said, the coalition of 2017 has expired. We are looking for new partners to move forward as ODM. There's no difference by Wiper saying we are looking for new partners now to move ahead with our campaigns and our plans. Let me say this. In case today the constitution is amended, and let me play a devil's advocate. If today we say the constitution is amended and there will be a prime minister who will be in charge of government, there will be a ceremonial presidency, and just close your eyes and say, Jubilee fronts a candidate other than Ruto to be the ceremonial president. And Ruto says, no, I want to be the prime minister. Then Raila comes in and says, don't worry, I want to be the ceremonial president. And Jubilee front and the candidate to be the prime minister. Did you see that game? We are all back to on our marks. So the referee of the game will be saying, on your marks, get set. Now we are all in one liner. So at that particular time, do you expect Ruto to be running together within Jubilee? The answer is no. And anything in Kenya can change. That is the experience I have today. And that's why I'm confident that Kalonzo must stand firm and be a candidate from the first word go. Not because he's leaving NASA. No, there's no leaving NASA. But who tells you that Ruto cannot come to NASA?
The absence.
Or who cannot even support NASA?
All right.
With his own chosen backed candidate.
You talked of Paranya and ODM. Now that you brought that up, the absence of Wiper, leader Kalonzo Musyoka, and people like you in the 30th January swearing in. So you've been criticized, and you've talked about that. ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna has already said, told us here in studio, that the coalition, that is NASA, died on the 30th. What do you think?
There's a difference between Sifuna and Raila Odinga. Sifuna says that in the morning, who is a green horse in politics. But Raila comes out and says ODM is firmly
in NASA.
So who do you believe between the two?
All right, then the other party.
Me, I was serving Raila Odinga. He's still my boss within NASA. Kalonzo is still my boss. Mudavadi is still my boss. Wetangula is my boss, okay. Not Sifuna.
Well, three of those bosses.
Sifuna has never even signed one letter that has ever been read at any given time in NASA. Not one. It does not know what happens there.
Three of the bosses you've talked of the four bosses, three of them, that is a majority, have already said, let me actually say two.
Yes.
One, your party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, 2 weeks ago, when talking about Wetangula's removal from Senate minority leader, said Orengo should not be the one that should wreck the coalition. If anything, what he meant is that that move was so grave that it could wreck the coalition. Apart from that, two of the other bosses you've talked about, that is Ford Kenya and ANC, feel let down by ODM, and they have actually, and they are saying ODM should leave the coalition that is NASA.
Yes.
Are you of the same opinion?
Let me start by saying this, Mohammed. If something is wrong, there's no way you can cushion it up and make it look right. The truth about the matter is this. Wetangula being one of the principals, Orengo could not have attempted to do what he did. Even if that position was brought to him and being told, here it is, you don't need to fight for it, it's been snatched from Wetangula and its US, you could have said no. There is no way somebody can come to me and tell me, challenge Raila on this publicly, and I go and do it. Neither Mudavadi, neither Kalonzo, neither Wetangula. So for Orengo being a co-chair, and that's why I said we need to issue a statement here, four of us, for him to accept that was one thing that I will never support or recognize. It was wrong. He should not have done that. Now looking at it, Raila and ODM, because he has the capacity to tell ODM no, and the issue stops there. As Kalonzo has the capacity to tell any member in Wiper no, and that thing stops there. Because when we chose him as a presidential candidate, we were talking about party leaders, make your choice. We came with a choice, and they said that is it. It is Raila, that is it. And the issue stopped them because they gave us that authority. So there is no way that somebody's powers can be snatched by a junior officer, and it turns out to be the right thing to be accepted by Kenyans. That is wrong.
So are you of the same opinion as ANC and for Kenya, who are telling ODM,
well,
there's no love lost here, they're just telling ODM clearly, leave?
I do not advocate for the force of the four parties, or either one. But I will say this. It is not too late for Rengo to put up his hands and say, it's not mine, I don't want it, Wetangula take it. Because there is tomorrow. We need to campaign in this country. I need to show my face. You see, when it became too difficult for me to safeguard my image and my dignity with Wiper's nomination, Mohammed, what did I do? Instead of running out and start abusing Kalonzo and challenging him, and yet I do not have another replacement for that party as a party leader, I will be wasting myself and showing my weaknesses to Kenyans. So I decided to pull out and stay out, but not to be put into confrontation or a sort of situation with my party leader.
On the same issue, there's been talk since last week of ANC and Ford Kenya now talking about merging, and there's also been talk that there could be a bigger plan for a coalition bringing together ANC, Ford Kenya, and Wiper.
Yes.
Is that a fact?
Mohammed, remember my words some years back when I issued a statement. I said, in Kenya, and I want to say it here today, in Kenya, and for this country to be together, we do not need more than 3 political parties. We want 2 strong parties and another one just there to apply checks and balances. Why am I saying this? If you look at, Mohammed, the political parties we have today, may I tell you, you go to Kambani, you find it's almost every count had a political party. It is only recently when we just muscled ourselves and tried to say, let us end up with one party, which is coming out now. But for this country to survive, let us have Jubilee, let us have NASA, and any other party, and not beyond that. And let northeastern people come in as members. Ukambani come in as members. Luos come in as members. Kikuyus, so that everybody would stand a chance of becoming the president of this country, because the country is united under 2 or 3 political parties. So ask my question, I give you the question asked me, I want to give you my answer. I do not stand for more than 4 political parties. So anything that will make this country have just 3 political parties,
you support it.
I will support it day and night.
Right. It's not the first time your party, actually you've talked about it. There was ODM Kenya.
Yes.
And there came Wiper.
Yes.
Now you're talking about One Kenya movement.
Yes.
It's not the first time your party is rebranding. Clearly, though, the rebranding has not changed your fortunes.
Yes.
Whether it's for Kalonzo Musyoka, he's still not the president.
That's true.
If anything, the number of seats you have right now as Wiper.
And by the way, he has been always the presidential candidate of the party.
Yeah. So the number of seats even that you have in Wiper are less now in Parliament, even in the governors. So how different is this rebranding to you now? Is this just for the season? How will it change anything?
You know, Mohammed, let's look at this. And I want you please to try and understand me. Wiper has no intention to, whether it is a One Kenya movement, end up by campaigning as a political party. This will only happen, and I want to tell you this. Mudama is one of the planners, and I want Kenyans to hear me. It will only happen if we see ODM is going alone, Jubilee is going alone, and most likely it will be divided, and all other political parties. We will say then, let us all take risk and go for a runoff. But before that happens, Mudama will work around the clock to make sure that Mudavadi, Kalonzo, Wetangula, and leaders from Coast Province, Northeastern Province, all corners of this country, they are part and parcel of one political party.
All right.
I will only change my mind when I fail to attain that. And that's why I'm standing outside to watch, because I don't want to be judged in my own case. I want others to judge me, but now I'm outside looking at the players so that I can referee them in the best way.
Finally, you convened this meeting yesterday. There's already an objection of the use of the registration of the abbreviation OKM. This is by Kipchumba Murkomen. He actually says objection against use or registration of abbreviation OKM by Wiper Democratic Movement Kenya. And he says he has been using, that is his brand, the abbreviation OKM in his campaigns. Onesmus Kipchumba Murkomen. Already seemingly there's a legal battle that is going to happen. First, have you even registered OKM?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, Mohammed.
He has registered it, he says.
I want to say it. I want to give you a very good example. I have a mining company known as Rockland Kenya Limited. In short, it is known as RKL. I saw something at Intercontinental Hotel, close to Casino, there, written RKL. They have their own meaning. So we are using the same letters, but meaning differently. If this is Onesmus Kipchumba Murkomen, then he will be asked, what does yours stand for? And we will be asked, what does yours stand for? We are one Kenya movement. We may change it and even call it MKO, if that is, makes him happy. So we have many ways of going about this. So this is not an issue. Right. I think he's just trying to play politics of populist. A lot to come, obviously, in the next few days or months in Kenya's politics. But as always, thank you so much for making time for us. Former Senator Johnson Muthama. Keep talking to us. Text us. 22422 is the SMS number. On Twitter, use the hashtag The Big Question. We're back after this break.